Hey everyone. Thanks for coming back to the Duchess of Unicorn YouTube channel. I really appreciate you, and I'd like to just take a minute to say I really appreciate the fact that you stop in during this crazy pandemic when we all can't even go to the supermarket and have our head straight because there's only a few people allowed in the store at a time, or you can only buy one or two items at a time, or when we look and we go to the supermarket and we see the shelf of our meats that are usually there, and our proteins are just diminishing right before our eyes, and here we are trying to work with the budget and feed our families and friends and watch out for our own health and well-being. And you stop in on your free time to check out any of my videos. And I, of course, appreciate it. And I think that needs to be stated first and foremost. It's a crazy time. And of course, this channel was started for fun and entertainment. It's something of a guilty pleasure, being able to follow such a crazy part of history. Even with the pandemic, it's still part of history, but have this be about Meghan and Harry and all the crazy turns and dips these two take. However, it's mainly about Meghan, and that's who I like to spotlight because I feel an association in a very distant way because of she is biracial, and as well I am. And so for you to take the time out of your day, whether you're biracial, you're Caucasian, you're otherly mixed with other goodness, it's just nice to know that you stop in because something piques your interest, and hopefully it's more on the positive side. In other words, it doesn't have to be a negative thing to find criticism in things people do, because really we all have an opinion, and this channel was created out of entertainment and sharing my opinion, and hoping when I did share it that it would resonate with other people that also see this stuff and go wow, and just kind of pause and really don't feel it. It's not what is put out in the media. And again, that's also what this channel is about. Not necessarily because it's put out in the media is it truth. And we're seeing that in front of our eyes, aren't we? We're seeing that things are not exactly as we think they should be. Meghan herself is proving this quite easily, that things that are being said about her in the media become twisted. And so with that, we see that we have an opinion and we can share that. And so together on this platform and this way, we can share our true thoughts about what we're witnessing, because it is part of history. Not so much, Meghan's tried to take the emphasis off her race or her mix of races, and that's fine and well, but that's not the world that we live in per se as a whole. Yes, there's people who feel this and who act this way, that it is something that doesn't matter, but the whole of the entire world doesn't feel that way. And so that's what makes it resonate a lot with people like myself who are also biracial and who kind of have a foot on both sides of the line there. And so again, this channel is entertainment. It is for fun. It is sharing my thoughts, opinions, and views with you, and in hopes that it resonates with you. Now, right now, we're watching a glimpse of Meghan's interview. It wasn't an interview, sorry. It was a video call, and it's part of her UK charity patronage is blah, blah, blah. So it's part of her work that she did as the Duchess of Sussex. Now, she took the bag of cash and ran and split from the UK. And that's my opinion, and I'm going to stick to that, because what we see is that she had a higher agenda. Meghan always probably had a higher agenda, even before the conception of her engagement, even dating Prince Harry. Come on. between you and I, if you were to be dating a prince or introduced to a prince, could you see yourself running away, your imagination, on all the things that could be possible during that union or that relationship with a prince? And we know that Meghan, by her examples in other parts of her I should say public life, the things that are shared that have been true in the past, she makes short time, that means no time at all, in assessing where she'd like to take, what road she'd like to take, and where she has ideas that it can take her. And so this should be no different. And that's a lot about what my thoughts are when it's my jump off point when I look at the new things Meghan did. Now, I've created, I don't know, 50 videos, maybe more, on the Duchess of Sussex and Prince Harry and the little moves they're making. And it's all building up to a complete story. See, in my videos, I don't try to compete with the news because I'm not a reporter, I'm not a journalist. What I do is I look at some of the things that are happening. In other words, some of the things that Meghan is now doing. And as she released this new video of mentoring a young woman for an internship in a video call, which is great. She didn't invent this. Meghan didn't invent this. She's just taking the opportunity to try to, reach out. And of course, she realized, well, my face is now going to be back into the public eye, which is kind of a back door to saying, hey, I didn't want I wouldn't want publicity. I want to be more private. In this way, she can still be relative by using her patronage and, of course, doing the things that she's supposed to be doing under this patronage, the patronages. But, and that's a tongue twister of a word, but she can still do that. However, she doesn't have to have an excuse other than that to show herself or to, be out in PR again and having herself in the public eye. It's a great way. It's about smart works. We're still talking about smart works, and a lot of people don't understand the 1, 2, 3, the connection. And I may do a video, maybe my next video, on the smart works, because I don't think any of us actually understand what her connection is, why it matters, what this video call is about, and why it all ties in, and what does it really mean to us. Maybe it means nothing. So in this article by Henry Austin, dated April 29th, it says, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, mentored a young woman for an internship as part of her work with the charity she is a patron of, which released a video of their conversation Thursday. You seem incredibly confident and prepared, and I know everyone here is so excited, she told the woman, who has not been named. But she's not been named, but she put her face out there. So she had to have the okay to be able to show her face, just like Meghan herself said, hey, no pictures, no paparazzi. Everything goes through me. I don't want my picture published unless I give the say so. And I find that hard to understand because my understanding of journalism is that in photography, that you can take photos of anybody that's a public person, or someone in her position, in other words, marrying Prince Harry. But if you get a picture, take it. But somehow these pictures have stopped. Now, I'm not clear if these photos have stopped because she's threatened, that she's in this lawsuit with, UK papers, UK media network people. And for that reason, a lot of media don't want to deal with her. In other words, that's a double-edged sword. You want to F over UK papers because of whatever vendetta or whatever problem that you have with them, whether it be right, wrong, or indifferent. That also may interfere with other media outlets wanting to even show pictures of you because it can be maybe a liability for them in the long run because they never know what Meghan's going to do. Maybe Meghan wakes up one morning and says, you know what, I don't like that paper, or I don't like what they're saying about me, so I'm going to sue them. Or maybe because it's been said that that whole stuff with the son, the case with the letter with her father and copyright infringement, that all kind of stems a little bit from how Meghan, and what my understanding is of it, is that Meghan puts herself out there and then suddenly retracts things. Or maybe she sent that letter to her father, and it's been written that has been said that she wrote that letter with all good intention, knowing that it could see the light of day across a media outlet desk, and that those eyes would potentially, she could have known that those eyes would have been on there, like someone would have paid, or maybe her father would have broken down and showed the letter for proof of something, maybe something else, not what they're looking at, but then see, hey, we can just show this as well. The media outlets say they did nothing wrong. So, I guess it all comes out in the wash either way. But I find it hard to believe that this mentoring is specifically only for this particular internship. Now, granted, it makes perfect sense that she could do something under the guise of good, show herself, put it out there so she's still she's still been in the media almost every single day for the past few weeks since she did the volunteer work with the Angel Food Project, or the Project Angel Food. She's consistently been more and more in the headlines, and not that it's the most important thing, but she's starting to realize, she needs to get back to that stuff. And so I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just another thing. It's very nice that she has, reached out and was kind enough, but that makes sense. She's reaching out to a woman. She's about empowering women. And again, have you noticed her demeanor has changed? Her demeanor has been different. It's been a little bit less batty, eyelashy, and very frivolous. She's now getting a little more serious. And I don't know if you notice a change, a shift in her character that she portrays in, across media outlets. So she's changing. Now, I don't know if that she's always been like that, and that what she's been showing the world is the frivolous, cutesy side, like she's always been batting her eyelashes and smirking and smiling and being silly, and more commoner, if you will. And now she's getting serious, and actually it looks like she even may be showing a little bit more of her mean side, her mean girl side. And that's not, good, bad, or indifferent. It's just something I feel that she's doing. So I think that doing another video talking a little bit more about SmartWorks and why we would care and what it means to women anywhere, and how this little mentoring video call makes any sense to the common person. Now, I will say that her appearance, her character, the person she's portraying, the essence of who she is being pushed forward seems a little bit more mature and more direct, and again a little bit more assertive and mean girl like. So she's not batting her eyelashes and smiling and giggling. She's not looking doe-eyed and blinky blink blinky, and her eyes are not these big saucers like, oh, I'm the victim. It looks like she's now shifted her position, and now she feels like she is in more control. She's back in America, and maybe, she couldn't stand the UK. I don't know. It didn't seem like things that she did there were, they seemed like they were contrived. And if they weren't contrived, they seem like things that she did there might have been obscured maybe by certain media outlets. Now, I understand Meghan and Prince Harry are going to be allowing a tell-all book to be written about them. Now, I just wanted to end this here and say, Omid Scobie is not someone I look to do real journalism work. I look at people like Omid Scobie to give me tabloidy, entertainment like, celebrity type write ups that show them in the positive light that the celebrity that they're writing about would prefer. I don't see him as an independent person that would be putting forward a book that would make solid sense in terms of kind of giving his own spin on it. What I see is a friend writing about a book about a friend. Now they call in the media, and one of these headlines that I was reading, I'm just trying to see, I'm taking you along, spinning through, trying to see if I can find that article, but it kind of said that the book would be pretty much bullshit. It would be something that isn't a true article because it labeled Omid Scobie as her quote unquote friend. I never heard Omid Scobie ever in the past, like the past before she was married to Prince Harry, being of any type of friend. So I'm not really sure why now it would be the best for Omid Scobie. The only thing I could think of, in my opinion, is that, of course, throughout the few years that she's been the Duchess of Sussex and been married to Prince Harry, Omid Scobie has been writing in her favor. Okay, he hasn't pushed the envelope. He hasn't dug deeper. He hasn't looked around or turned over every rock and turned around every corner to see possibilities of other angles. He's written in such a way that Meghan would approve. So if someone's in your pocket and they're writing the way about you, a story about you that you are actually feeding them, then to me, and that's not a true story. It's just kind of repeating what you've heard or repeating what we all see that has been written by a lot of the celebrity magazines or media outlets. Not a real journalist, not someone who's getting down deep under something. Seeing some guy who's an editor-in-chief of an online magazine, it's a popular magazine in its time. I'm not sure how popular or not it is. I don't look at the statistics, but to call him a friend out of the blue, suddenly he's writing this book about you, and he's also partnered up with another woman who's probably a more valued writer, in my opinion, and she has a good name. However, maybe pairing him up with her is like collateral damage for him. And Meghan, of course. So this woman here, Carolyn Durand, she writes about the royals for Elle magazine or Elle magazine online, whichever. And it really doesn't matter to me. So teaming these two up to write this means, Omid Scobie wasn't really trusted completely to take on that project himself, and in my opinion, and B, perhaps Carolyn Durand lends a more popular or more well-known name to it to give him some clout. Again, it's all about people helping other people, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when you are writing a so-called book that's in favor of somebody, it's not the kind of book that I would say would be juicy or it would be super filled with facts. The facts that are going to be in this book, I feel, are going to be facts like, hey, Meghan felt like this, and Meghan felt like that, and she said this, and then she felt like that, and it's all going to be kind of like a regurgitation of what Meghan maybe said. So I don't feel that he's the journalist for a job for a juicy inside book. Not that we want to have her scalding hot and ridiculed and, put against the coals. What I would love to see is something that has true balance, just like being biracial. You're part of two different things, and you go forward in life with those two things being shown. You're, say in her case, her African American side, because her mother has ties with American slaves at slavery, and her father who has, other lineage that and lends back to the UK. So, showing your white and black side, proudly or openly at least, is kind of what I would want in a book. I wouldn't want to hear all the thoughts that Meghan might have had. It's not a biography, so I wouldn't want to hear about like what she thought or how she felt, or even all her actions are fine, but also I'd want to hear all the other side and all the in-between stuff, because not everybody possibly has something good to say. And we all know this, but it's being obscured by the PR people and, of course, a guy like Omid Scobie. So, not that I think he's bad. I kind of like him, but I kind of lose a little respect for him due to the fact that he seems to me willing to bend and flow with the wind. So whatever the wind of Meghan says, that he is kind of going to bend more that way. That's not the kind of person I want to write. I want to read the book that they write about Meghan, if that makes sense. And so, again, the woman in this picture, she has a pretty good name, and I'm sure Omid Scobie has his good points. Just the point that he's been in Meghan's back pocket for the past couple of years. And this article, I think, talks about it. But there is other articles that I read, and there's many people that feel that this book is going to be a little bit of a joke. And so for someone like me who creates videos and monitors and kind of steps around watching what Meghan's doing and kind of analyzing what she's doing, just from a perspective of the common person, the everyday person that just enjoys royals and is bewildered by how Meghan and Harry, crossed any type of paths, even if it was in passing, because we know Prince Harry crosses many, many, many people's paths. And one would say, well, that would make Meghan super special because she stood out among all the rest of the people that he stood paths with. But that isn't necessarily true. And I would say that would be true, except that he's also dated Sarah, and I forgot her name. I always forget her name, but she's not an important person and player in this. But if you look at the people that he has recently bumped into and been introduced to, where stories have been written that he was more interested in this woman, Sarah, she's also a model, but she was on the same yachts, and you see the yacht that she's on, and Meghan happens to be on the same yacht, and the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing and the whole Prince Andrew thing, and you start to see that there's the same circles, and it looks like Meghan introduced herself into those circles. And so when you think about things like that and you kind of follow that, it seems like something else is at play here. Okay, so I went long overdue with what I meant to, but I think I will kind of get a short video together on the few things about SmartWorks and lend my opinion, of course, and also share some things with you. And you can also, of course, do your own research. That's always advised, always, 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 always. And I want to thank you again for stopping in to today's video. And I hope that you will subscribe and stay with me on things, because I'm sure that I'll have many more interesting topics. This is a very funky time for all of us. I wish you health and safety, well-being, and just the fortitude to get through what we're all getting through. And, there's always a light at the tunnel. There always is. There always is. If you're going in, you've got to go out. And if you can go out, you can go up. I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.